Hello, everyone, and welcome to Victoria's Little Secrets podcast, the podcast where women spill the stories they don't tell out loud, but they send to me. From the chaos of motherhood to the adventures and disasters of a single life, nothing's off limits. Funny, raw, and totally anonymous. These confessions remind us that none of us are alone in the madness. Shoo! Welcome. I almost tripped up on that first part of that opening because I just read it off every time. But anyways, welcome, friends. I have a lot to catch you up on. I know I'm a week behind on podcasting. Literally, life has been crazy. I shouldn't say crazy because life has been absolutely fine. But my mental health has absolutely been hurting, which is kind of nothing new with me. For years, I have had problems with mental health of anxiety and depression. Well, I finally decided to see a psychiatrist, and that was back in January of this year. And we have been on this regimen of figuring out what's causing my anxiety and depression and what's going to help me. Because I have tried Lexapro, Zoloft. No, I haven't tried Zoloft. Lexapro, Prozac, Effexor, and now I'm on Cymbalta. And Effexor and Cymbalta are a completely different style of antidepressants. I think they're supposed to help with major depression. I don't know. I did know at one point, but I forgot. And I wanted to also talk to her about ADHD because I had a doctor who did not want to even talk or discuss the fact that I have ADHD. She just kept brushing me off. And I'm just getting worse and worse and worse. And finally, I'm starting to realize, I really have ADHD. I can feel it. I know it. I check every box off. I take every test to see. And I know I have ADHD, okay? Please, somebody help me. And so this new psychiatrist basically had a plan of getting off this insanely high dose of Effexor, which has horrible side effects. Like when you try to wean off or whatever, you can never cold turkey this stuff. You can't. So she used to wean myself off of that while simultaneously trying the new medication, Cymbalta. And each lower dose of Effexor, I got a little higher dose of the Cymbalta, so I was able to wean off. And Cymbalta, if I miss a day, which doesn't happen, or if I take it later on in the day, I don't feel like I'm losing my mind like I did with Effexor. So now I'm fully on Cymbalta. I've been enjoying it, but my anxiety is still there. I'm still having random panic attacks, which I haven't had panic attacks in a long time, actually. So whatever reason, that was picking back up for me, and able to discuss starting ADHD medication. And we went through all the options and all the choices, and I really thought that a stimulant would be the best. A stimulant that is long-lasting throughout the day. So Vyvanse is what I'm prescribed now. And today's my first day on it, and I take it, and y'all, literally, they say it takes 45 minutes to kick in. Oh, it's kicked in. I don't feel super, super wild and I'm over here picking up everything, but I'm highly motivated. And the motivation, y'all, I've never had this feeling. The only time I ever get close to feeling this is when I have a new idea, like a fucking podcast, okay? Or creating something for social media. That's the time I feel those motivation. But I never follow through with those things because I get burnt out on it because I spend so much time figuring out. It's a cycle. It's been a cycle with me. So hopefully this is going to be great. And done everything to make sure that it absorbs properly. I do need to get some magnesium to help it, stay and not feel so crappy at the end of the day. I don't know, though. This is day one. I'm already yapping my head off. So with that all being said, I'm super excited. I still love this idea, so that's a good thing. And I really do want to still keep this up with because I'm still getting emails. And I'm just so excited. I'm so excited. So today we are going to talk about, let's see, let me get my email. Okay, Jessica writes in, I was talking to this guy I met on Tinder. I know, but we all did it. Anywho, he kept insisting on taking me out and us meeting. I didn't want to be a booty call, so I kept making up excuses. I finally caved, but told him I was moving into my house and would be busy. He said, "It's fine. Just let me know when you get done, and I will have dinner waiting for you." Aw. Come over in your comfiest clothes and enjoy getting to relax. I said, "Okay, fine." I shoot him a text and never heard anything. I tried again. I got showered and I started to slowly get ready. Never heard anything. I said, "Well, damn, he ghosted me." I met up with a friend for supper and headed back home. Never heard anything from him again. The next morning, I start seeing all these posts tagging him. People not believing he's gone. Gone too soon. Rest in peace. I clicked the first person that commented and sent them a message. "Hey, this is random, but I was supposed to meet up with this guy and I haven't heard anything. We've been talking for a little bit. Can you tell me what happened? What's wrong?" The reply said, "I'm so sorry you have to find out this way. His mom found him. He had a bilateral pulmonary embolism. He was so looking forward to meeting you. I'm so sorry." Jessica, you just took the whole meaning of ghosting to another level. Oh my gosh, that's so sad. And sorry, I'm laughing. I get when I read something that kind of makes me nervous. I do get the giggles, but I gotta sit and process this for a second. So technically, he did ghost you. He did ghost you, and that is so sad. He could have been the one, Jessica. He could have been the one. I'm just kidding. Well, needless to say, that's never happened to me before. I've only ever had people just ghost me. I can think of many times where people have ghosted me for no good reason, and I definitely know they're still alive. Do you ever have a person, it's kind of typical with guys. Sorry for my male listeners. I know I have a few now. But have you ever had a guy ghost you, but still follow you on Instagram? And then they view your stories still? Like, what are you doing there, little ghosty? I'm the type of person that, like, I don't care if he views my story, it's whatever. Like, I'm not going to reach out to him. I am very stubborn in that way. And I wish a lot more women would be stubborn in that way as well. Like, if a man is not showing up for you, if you're not, especially if you're not in a committed relationship with them, girls, do not over text. Do not send them text after text. You should not have to tell a man how to treat you. And I am proven fact of that. Relationships that I've had to explain how to love me have always have failed. You won't have to teach them. They will just know and they will just do, okay? And it is true. My boyfriend, literally, I have not had to school him on anything. I mean, yeah, okay, so you get in a relationship with, especially when y'all are younger, yeah, you kind of have to teach how you want to be treated a little bit. And when I mean teach, I mean like, hey, just so you know, I like random flowers. Hey, just so you know, I'm not big on flowers, but I really like spontaneous dates. That kind of teaching. Yeah. Not the, I just really wish that you would text me back quicker and tell me you love me. Remember having to tell a man 3 years down the line how you want to be treated? Are you kidding me? No. No. Because if they don't do it when they're dating you, they sure as hell ain't gonna do it when you're married to them. And that's just facts. So that's my spill on ghosting. And I hope this man rest in peace. And Jessica, thank you for your story. I really, really appreciate it so very much. She is the one that also gave us last episode, gave us the juicy one about the cheating. So she did a wonderful applause for Jessica. Thank you. So for people who don't know me, I used to be married. When I first made my very first podcast on Moms Anonymous, I was married. We went through a divorce after 7 years of marriage and a total of 10 years together. I think that's what it was. 10 or 11 years together. We got divorced. At first, yeah, the divorce was kind of messy in a way. But then once the divorce was over, we both did not want to fight for anything. We had 50-50 custody, and y'all, you're not prepared for 50-50 custody as a mama. especially when you only got one kid, okay? Um, that was a lot of free time, and I was extremely unhealthy mentally. I was drinking, partying, not with my child. On my days with my child, on my 50%, girl was showing up 24/7. My child never had a clue. I think Lane was 4. Yeah, he was 4, 3. He was 3 when we got divorced or, got separated, and we immediately went into 50-50 custody. Um, I had so much free time on my hands. I mean, I dropped down to 94 pounds. I looked sickly. The person I was dating just wasn't healthy for me mentally either. It was a tough time during our divorce for me mentally. And then things started going on the up and up. I'm getting healthier. I'm not going out as much. We are doing family things together with my ex husband and his family because his family is just amazing and so kind and sweet. We started with T-ball. We'd all be together still as a family. Nothing was weird. 3 years ago, next Tuesday, my ex-husband tragically passed away in a side-by-side accident. That's a razor, like a four-wheeler with a steel cage around it kind of thing. And then my rednecks know what I'm talking about. But he died in his own backyard because he wasn't wearing a seatbelt, and it killed him instantly when it flipped. It flipped him out. And I mean, he was at home drinking with his friends, like just something being safe, I would say, because you're at home. But he had no business getting on that thing and not being in a harness. And tragically, he passed away. And I was going to do an episode next week on it, but that day's already gonna be hard, and it's already hard for me to talk about it now, but I think along with all my mental health stuff this year leading up to this month, I've had a crap ton of anxiety, very doom thinking, and I don't think I've really ever had the chance to really talk about it, and I wanted to give myself a chance to talk about it when it's just not in the moment, as in, like, literally next week, and we'll be busy probably hanging out with family. And I figured today we can kinda discuss it's spooky season, kinda morbid. I will say one of the spookiest things that came out of that night, I love horror. I love spooky things. I love everything, scary movie, demon, all the things. But I have never experienced any kind of, like, spooky or other worldly things. I'm not very religious. I believe that there's probably something out there, but I don't per se say that I am this type of religion. I was a practicing Christian in my younger years. Growing up in the South, that's just kind of like how it happens. But my parents never pushed anything like that on us. And I hadn't prayed, y'all. I mean, we had just went through all this crazy divorce. Like I said, finally was getting healthy again, but I hadn't prayed in so long because I had been in such an unhealthy state. Something told me that night, October 28th, 3 years ago, you need to pray. Pray for your baby. And I was so anxious. And I can remember feeling like you've got to pray and talk to someone, whoever that may be, whether it's God or whatever. I was sure to say, dear God, dear anyone listening. Um, I don't know why. I can't explain this feeling, but please, I'm praying for you to protect my son. And, when you start praying and sometimes you're really sleepy, you're kind of in and out of praying, you wake up and you continue to pray. I was doing that. And then I'm, as I'm praying for them to protect my child, I hear a freaking knock on our door at my house. And it was boom, 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 boom. And then my partner gets up, my ex gets up, and they go to the door and they come back really quickly and they say, Vic, the cops are here and they want to speak with you. So I had just had this crazy anxious feeling. And in the middle of me praying, being almost asleep, a knock comes on the door and it's the police. Can you imagine? First thing they say is, your son is all right. And immediately I'm like, oh my God, okay. That's exactly, what I was thinking was something has happened. Something has happened to Lane. They said, your son is fine, but we need you to go to Zach's house, which is my ex-husband. You need to go to Zach's house and get Lane. And I'm like, why? Why? What, what's going on? Like, the cops wouldn't tell me anything. My phone's literally vibrating in my hand. And I tell them, okay, I'm going now. They're like, and they were very making sure that I was not going to drive. So you automatically know something crazy's happened, right? They don't want me to find out what's going on while I'm driving. I start getting dressed. My phone is ringing off the hook, and I can finally answer because the cops aren't there anymore. And it is Zach's mom calling me on my phone. And I've got to answer. And I'm like, hey, what is going on? And it was one of her friends. She had called from Zach's mom's phone to tell me that Zach had been in an accident. Sorry. That he had been in an accident. And I'm like, okay, well, what hospital? Where's he at? I did not in a million years think, something, what it really was. And uh, she said, no, baby, he's not here anymore. And sorry. I can remember falling to my knees and just screaming at him. Like, I just knew he did something stupid. I just knew he did, because that's how my ex-husband, baby daddy, that's how he lived life to the fullest, always doing something crazy, right? And sure enough, I'm on my knees screaming, you are so fucking stupid. What did you do? What did you do? You're stupid. I know you did something stupid. Why would you do this? Why would you do this? And that's finally collect myself fast enough, and because I kicked into high gear, because I knew Lane, I don't know, is he awake? But I knew he was at our house, at Zach's house, and I did not know what was going on. Zach's mom's friend on the phone with me was able to tell me that Lane is inside of the house. He is asleep, and he has no idea of anything that has happened. That the cops won't let them and nobody in the house. Nobody's allowed in the house. And that I needed to get over there and get him, because legally that's the only person that could get him, which I was actually really, really thankful for. Um, I'm really glad I was able to be there for that, and that the cops did that for me. I'm sure it was just probably because it's legal. You have to do that, right? But I'm just very thankful nobody else was able to go in there and wake him up. It needed to be me. And the drive over there, of course, I had to call my parents, and that was the worst phone call I will never forget. I can hear my mom screaming in my head, like, just so unbelievable. And you're just going through this process, and you're thinking, and your mind is bouncing ideas off of one another, like, or not ideas, but thoughts. And you're just, I literally cannot believe this is happening. I am dreaming. I am dreaming. I go and I get to our old house, Zach's house. There's cops surrounding the entire lot. The craziest thing ever. And I pull up, and detectives immediately come up to me and have a discussion with me, and telling me that they're going to turn all the lights off outside, and I was to go get Lane, get him dressed, and take him home with me. And that Zach's mom will be in contact with me on, like, what's next steps or whatever. I think, I don't even know, it's a blur. But there was this really sweet detective. He got me into the house, got to go into a house that I have not been through. Lane has a new bedroom that was used to be our spare bedroom. His room is completely different. I don't know where the child is sleeping in a pair of little boxer briefs. I don't even know where his pajamas are. And I somehow have to go through all these clothes to find out what he's going to wear. And I don't know where anything is. So I'm trying to go through this stuff while also having to get him dressed. I have to wake him up. Oh my god, and I'm trying not to wake him up too much, right? Because I don't want him to ask questions. Not right now. So, I got him dressed, and he's, like, in and out of sleep, right? He's so little, and thankfully, I could still carry him at that point because I can't carry his little butt now, and I put a blanket over his head, and the detective, helps me walk out, and we go straight to my car, and we put Lane in the back seat. I see all the lights are off, and he's starting to kinda, like, wake up and stuff, and then we pull off, and we just go back home, and as we're leaving, daddy's house, Lane says, "Mommy, you picked me up because I just couldn't sleep good, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, baby, absolutely. I just knew you weren't sleeping good, and we went home. And then the next day is when I, broke the news to him, and it was absolutely heartbreaking. But I will say, my sweet boy is so strong. And I think him being so young, he just was kind of like, okay, I'm going to go play now, you know? And then, like I said, it's been 3 years now, and I've been through therapy as well as putting him in therapy. And even his therapist was like, he's managing so good because, of course, he has separation anxiety from me. It's not as bad now because of therapy, but before I couldn't even leave the room without him crying for me. And I sure as heck couldn't have a weekend without him. And so we can get into another podcast on what my life has been like after Zach died. And that'll be a more interesting, funny one. This one's kinda sad. I didn't mean for it to be sad. I didn't even know I was gonna really actually go into all this. But like I said, it would have been weird for me to talk about it next week or completely ignore the fact that I'm talking about it, you know? So I felt like today needed to be that, and I just was gonna kinda just go for it. Here we are. Now I'm crying. But gone. Lane is such a strong and funny and kind and goofy boy. He looks just like his daddy, and he loves his mommy. And that has been the best thing, is having him and him having me, just us two, for a while now. And I think I started telling this story because the ghosty vibes I got. We have the time that I was laying in bed feeling this way, falling asleep praying, and the time that Zach died is exactly when I got that feeling and when something told me, you need to pray for Lane. You need to pray for his safety. And as I was praying, Zach passed away. I mean, is that intuition? Was it God? Was it Zach? I have no idea. I have no idea. And that I can say is the craziest, spookiest, saddest experience I've ever had in my life. But I like to think that it was Zach telling me, I wish I could have seen him. I see him in my dreams almost every night still to this day. He is in my dreams, and he's always happy and showing up at the party, and he's just like, "I'm just kidding, I'm not dead." And I'm like so mad at him in my dream, right? I'm like, "What the fuck, Zach?" Like, it's just something he would do. And I'm so relieved that he's back. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but kind of wish I would have been able to, like, see how some people have those experiences where their person who dies, like, visits them right after they pass. I guess he did. I wasn't able to see him. It was just a feeling. It's a general feeling. I always felt like I could always kind of guess the future. My grandmother, who's Cuban, she said that she had premonitions and that she could see into the future, and it wasn't just deja vu. Honey, I believe it. I believe it 100%. It runs in the family. So talking about death and grief, it is a real bitch. It is a real bitch. You'll be completely fine for days, for weeks, sometimes even months. And then all of a sudden, boom, it hits you. And you have this realization. And I guess my thing is that I'm just waiting for it to really hit Lane, my child, because he's still so young and hasn't had too many crazy world experiences just yet to like know the importance of, having your dad around and not having your dad around. And my family, oh my God, my family, so we're all just still involved and tight. And he feels so much love from so many different aspects in life. And he's freaking spoiled rotten. I'll tell you that. I'm trying to hold on to that innocence as long as I can. And each year I can feel it breaking away. And I know when he gets to be a little preteen or teen, it's going to be so different, And I just really, really hope that the things that I do now helps him for his future and helps him know that he is so loved and his daddy loved him so much and it wasn't his fault for any of it. And he already knows that, he already knows that. But I really want to make sure as he gets older and hormones and everything else that comes with emotions that you get when you get older as a teen boy. Yeah, this has been an interesting podcast episode. Like I said, I'm on my little Vyvanse and I didn't know what was going to come out of my mouth, but I just knew something was going to come out and we were going to record this thing. And I figured reading the, the poor dating story where she got literally ghosted. I guess I could have segued into that. It makes sense. Hopefully this makes sense after I listen back to it and go edit it. I just wanted to get on the mic, okay? I love you guys. I still only have a few more stories that have been emailed to me. So if you don't mind, send me your story times. I feel like now you can kind of tell the kind of stories that I want to do, which are typically around dating or any type of experiences that you've had with either the opposite sex or same sex, whatever. I want to read any story. Let's talk about anything, honestly, really. I have a guy that emailed me a really juicy story. And I cannot wait to read that to y'all. It seems like it's a very juicy one. So be prepared. We're about to get spicy. Spicy. I think I'm going to dress up for next week. So if you want to catch my video of me dressed up, I think I'm going to find a way to get this on YouTube. My last couple ones haven't gone on YouTube because I can't figure out how to do it. But once I figure that out, we're going to be on the YouTube and you can watch this pretty face speaking to the mic and see all the crazy faces that I make when I record these this podcast episodes. Okay. Let's go. If you want to send your stories to me, you can send them to my email at vics.storytime@gmail.com. That is vics.storytime@gmail.com. Send your stories into me, or if you have any questions about any of the episodes that you've listened to already, I will talk about them. I'm going to continue to keep you guys updated on the mental health on Instagram at sonofamuggle_. If you want to follow along for that, please do. Rate and subscribe on Apple and Spotify. Okay, give me all the ratings. We can get up there on the charts, and that way we can do this. And when we start making some moolah, I want to be able to give back to the community in some way. I haven't quite figured it out. Like, this is such a baby show right now. I'm just glad y'all are here. And thank you for letting me vent and tell you my traumatic story. Once again, follow me on Instagram at sonofamuggle_, on TikTok, Victoria's.little.secrets. That's my TikTok handle. Follow along on my Vyvanse journey and ADHD. And thank you for being here to listen. Send me those emails. Rate and subscribe. I love you guys. See y'all next week.